Amid the harsh, sun-scorched deserts of western Sudan, there lived a man whose story still resonates in the hearts of his people, a story of courage, faith, and an unyielding fight for justice. Sultan Ali Dinar wasn't just a ruler, he was a beacon of hope for a nation standing on the brink of change. Known as the last leader of the Sultanate of Darfur, his life is a reminder of what it means to resist when everything you hold dear is under threat. Born in 1856 in the serene village of Shawaya al-Sultan, al-Malam, nestled at the foot of Mount Tauro in South Darfur, near present-day Nyala, he grew up surrounded by the cultural and natural beauty of his homeland. His mother, Al-Miram Kaltuma bint Ali Kami, was also rooted in noble lineage, tracing her heritage back to Emir Yahya and Sultan Bakr. Sultan Ali Dinar's life was marked by his fierce commitment to defending his people and their land. Known for his honor, dignity, and unyielding spirit, he stood as a symbol of pride and resistance. Until his last breath, he remained steadfast, sacrificing his life in defense of his homeland, leaving behind an enduring legacy of bravery and patriotism. Even as a boy, he carried a fire within him, a fire that would one day define his name and his destiny. The name Dinar, meaning fire, was more than just a word. It captured the essence of his spirit, the determination that would guide him through a reign marked by both triumph and adversity. When Ali Dinar rose to power in 1898, the world around him was changing rapidly. Colonial forces were carving up Africa, dismantling its independence piece by piece. Yet Darfur remained defiant, its people united under their cultural richness. As Sultan, Ali Dinar didn't just see himself as a leader of land and people, he saw himself as a guardian of their identity. His fight wasn't merely about borders, it was about preserving the soul of his nation. To truly understand Sultan Ali Dinar's defiance, we must step into the unfolding drama of Sudan's history, shaped by the ambitions of powerful empires and the resilience of its people. The story begins with Egypt's Muhammad Ali dynasty, whose reach extended southward into Sudan, pulling the region into its sphere of influence. This relationship, however, was anything but stable, fluctuating with the strength or weakness of Egypt's rulers. In 1820, Muhammad Ali Pasha sent his son Ismail to lead a campaign into Sudan. It was a time of uncertainty as ancient kingdoms like the Funj, which had ruled for centuries, faced the winds of change. By 1821, Ismail had taken control of vast territories with little resistance. The proud Funj kingdom collapsed when its last ruler, Badi VI, handed over power to the distant caliph in Constantinople, marking the end of an era. Although Muhammad Ali's forces pushed further south, even capturing Kordofan from the Fur Sultanate, Darfur itself remained untouched. It was a rare reprieve, allowing the region to hold on to its independence for a time. But this fragile autonomy would soon be tested. In the 1880s, the Mahdist revolution erupted, led by the fiery and charismatic Muhammad Ahmad al-Mahdi. Declaring jihad against Egyptian rule, al-Mahdi's movement swept across Sudan like a storm, toppling Egyptian authority and establishing a new state with its capital in Omdurman. For the people of Darfur, the Mahdist revolution was a complex challenge. While its message resonated with Islamic unity, the Fur people were not easily subdued. Their resistance reflected both a fierce independence and a cautious approach to the volatile alliances of the time. Leaders like Ali Dinar found themselves walking a delicate line, navigating the shifting sands of loyalty and opposition. In 1898, the tides shifted again. At the Battle of Omdurman, Anglo-Egyptian forces led by General Kitchener crushed the Mahdist state. What was left was a fractured land, weakened and searching for direction. Amid the chaos, British eyes turned to Darfur. But it was here, in this transitional moment, that Ali Dinar made his move. With a calm confidence born of his heritage, he re-entered Al-Fasher unopposed and declared himself Sultan. In doing so, he reclaimed not only his family's legacy, but also Darfur's sovereignty. Ali Dinar's rule brought Darfur a renewed sense of purpose and vitality. He understood the art of leadership, combining traditional tribal diplomacy with the guidance of Islamic law to unify a territory long divided by conflict. Under his governance, Quranic schools flourished, filling the air with the recitations of young students. Mosques became not just places of worship, but vibrant community centers. Justice under his administration was known for its fairness, a testament to his deep sense of responsibility toward his people. But Ali Dinar's vision extended far beyond the borders of Darfur. He saw his kingdom as more than an isolated entity. It was part of the larger fabric of the Islamic world. With this in mind, he strengthened ties with the Ottoman Caliphate, a connection that symbolized both spiritual solidarity and political strategy. One of his most significant contributions was the revival of the Mahmal, a powerful symbol of Darfur's deep-seated religious devotion and Ali Dinar's determination to elevate his region on the global stage. Through these acts, Ali Dinar showed that his rule was not just about maintaining independence. It was about making Darfur a beacon of faith, culture, and resilience in an ever-changing world. His leadership was a rare blend of pragmatism and idealism, grounded in tradition yet forward-looking. For his people, he was more than a ruler. He was a symbol of hope, guiding them through some of the most turbulent times in their history. As Sultan Ali Dinar's influence expanded, so too did the watchful gaze of foreign powers. For Britain and France, Africa's remaining autonomous regions represented both a challenge and an opportunity. Ali Dinar, with his strong ties to the Ottoman Empire, quickly became a figure of suspicion. To undermine his authority, British officials imposed annual tribute payments, framing them as a requirement to maintain his status while subtly asserting control. But Ali Dinar was no ordinary ruler. He played along, paying the tributes while quietly strengthening his military, preparing for the day when diplomacy would no longer suffice. Ali Dinar's resistance was not merely against physical domination. He understood that colonial powers sought to conquer more than land. They aimed to erase cultures, rewrite histories, and distort identities. The British were no exception. Through their narratives, they portrayed Ali Dinar as a tyrant, a leader who ruled with an iron fist, while casting themselves as saviors bringing order to chaos. After his death, these distortions only deepened. Colonial accounts painted him in a negative light, ensuring that future generations would remember him not as a hero, but as a flawed and despotic figure. The misrepresentation of Sultan Ali Dinar's legacy is one of the most insidious tools of colonial control. Books such as Alan Theobald's Ali Dinar, The Last Sultan of Darfur, and writings by British historians like Richard Hill and George Sanderson emphasized the authoritarian aspects of his rule, while conveniently ignoring his role as a steadfast resistor of colonial aggression. These works shaped the dominant narrative for decades, overshadowing the truth of his leadership and the values he embodied. Sudanese scholars, meanwhile, have often fallen short of reclaiming his story in its full complexity. While Ali Dinar is celebrated as a national figure, much of this commemoration has been superficial, focusing on symbolic gestures rather than an in-depth exploration of his life and contributions. This lack of deeper engagement has created disconnect between modern Sudanese people and the richness of their national heritage. Ali Dinar's story, full of courage, faith, and resistance, risks fading into a sanitized version of history unless it is reclaimed and retold with authenticity and care. For those who look closely, however, the truth remains. Sultan Ali Dinar was not simply a ruler or a warrior. He was a guardian of his people's dignity and identity. His bold actions during a time of great peril remind us that resistance is not just about physical battles, but also about preserving the soul of a nation against forces that seek to erase it. His legacy, though clouded by colonial distortions, continues to resonate as a powerful reminder of the strength found in conviction and the enduring fight for justice. Sultan Ali Dinar's reign was anything but easy. He ruled during a time of great upheaval, navigating the storm of internal strife, external threats, and the relentless pressure of colonial ambitions. Within Darfur, Tribal factions sometimes resisted his authority, testing his ability to maintain unity. To the west, French forces loomed, probing Darfur's borders with their own imperial designs. Meanwhile, the British, ever suspicious of his motives, offered little in the way of cooperation. Despite these challenges, Ali Dinar's vision for his kingdom remained unwavering. He dreamed of reclaiming Kordofan and restoring Darfur to its historic glory. Ali Dinar's leadership was not defined solely by his political ambitions or military efforts. His faith was at the very heart of his rule, shaping his governance and his vision for Darfur. He worked tirelessly to make his kingdom a beacon of Islamic learning and devotion. Under his leadership, Quranic schools flourished, mosques were built in every corner of the region, and Darfur earned the nickname "the 2 pages of the Quran" for its deep commitment to religious education. Sultan Ali Dinar's devotion to his faith was deeply ingrained in his leadership, transcending personal prayers and extending far beyond the borders of his kingdom. He saw himself not only as a ruler, but as a guardian of Islam's most cherished traditions. When British interference disrupted Egypt's annual Kiswa caravan, the ceremonial delivery of the Kaaba's covering to Mecca, Ali Dinar felt compelled to act. Determined to uphold this sacred custom, he launched his own independent expedition, known as the Mahmal. The Mahmal was much more than a symbolic gesture. It was a testament to Ali Dinar's reverence and commitment to his faith. This grand caravan carried the Kiswa, a magnificent silk covering intricately embroidered with Quranic verses in gold. Alongside it, the Mahmal bore gifts that highlighted Darfur's cultural richness and the Sultan's dedication. Gold, silver, agricultural goods, and Darfur's famed sweets were offered as tokens of the Sultanate's prosperity and spiritual bond with the Islamic heartlands. The interconnected traditions of the Mahmal, the Kiswa, and the Surah, monetary and material contributions to support the holy sites of Mecca and Medina, were steeped in profound significance. For centuries, these practices exemplified the generosity and solidarity of Islamic rulers. The Surah ensured the payment of salaries to workers, the upkeep of mosques, and financial aid for pilgrims, while the Kiswa and Mahmal symbolized spiritual devotion and logistical grandeur. Together they represented a unique blend of faith, culture, and leadership, underscoring the unity of the Muslim world. Darfur's role in these sacred traditions was deeply rooted in history. Since the establishment of the First Sultanate, its rulers had maintained close ties with the Hijaz and the Ottoman Caliphate. Historical records highlight the contributions of leaders like Sultan Ibrahim Karad, who sent thousands of silver coins and essential goods to support the holy cities. These efforts reflected Darfur's enduring commitment to its Islamic heritage and its pivotal role in the spiritual and cultural life of the Muslim world. However, this long-standing tradition was disrupted in 1875 when Darfur was incorporated into the Turco-Egyptian administration. Sultan Ali Dinar, upon reclaiming Darfur's independence in 1898, took it upon himself to restore the Mahmal, the Kiswa, and the Surah. For him, reviving this tradition was more than a ceremonial act. It was a profound statement of Darfur's identity and its spiritual connection to the Islamic heartlands. Yet, Ali Dinar's dedication extended beyond these grand offerings. He was acutely aware of the hardships faced by pilgrims journeying through the unforgiving deserts to reach Mecca. To alleviate these struggles, he provided security escorts and constructed vital infrastructure to support travelers. One of his most lasting contributions was the creation of wells, including the now famous Abya Ali wells in Saudi Arabia, which continue to serve pilgrims to this day. As the 20th century dawned, the winds of change swept relentlessly across Africa. European powers, hungry for land and resources, were carving up the continent with little regard for the cultures and histories they sought to dominate. While much of Sudan had fallen under British-Egyptian control, Darfur stood apart, a proud, autonomous state that defied colonial ambitions. For the British, Darfur's independence was a thorn in their side, a reminder that their grasp on the region was not yet complete. The outbreak of World War I in 1914 brought new urgency to Ali Dinar's struggle. As the Ottoman Empire declared jihad against the Allied powers, Ali Dinar stood firmly by its side. For him, this was more than a political move. It was a profound act of faith and solidarity. By aligning with the Ottomans, he hoped to inspire unity among Muslims and rally support against the encroaching forces of colonialism. This bold stand, however, came at a cost. The British, already wary of Ali Dinar's influence, now saw him as a direct threat to their control over Sudan and the broader region. To them, he was not just a political leader, but a spiritual figure capable of galvanizing resistance. Darfur, under Ali Dinar's leadership, became a symbol of defiance, a barrier to the British vision of unchallenged dominance in the region. Sultan Ali Dinar's resistance is more than a chapter in history. It is a human story of courage, sacrifice, and unshakable determination in the face of overwhelming odds. His defiance against British colonial forces was not just a military campaign, it was a fight for the dignity and survival of his people. Through every fierce confrontation, his leadership shone as a beacon of resilience, inspiring the loyalty of his warriors and the admiration of those who remember his cause. The stage was set for a confrontation of epic proportions. The British were relentless. By 1916, they launched a full-scale invasion of Darfur, deploying advanced weaponry, including aircraft, a terrifying first for the region. The first major clash came at Jebel al-Hilla, where Ali Dinar's forces faced the formidable British army. Equipped with little more than traditional rifles and swords, his warriors stood against an enemy armed with advanced artillery. The scene was one of stark contrast, modern firepower against the enduring spirit of a people determined to defend their land. Despite their unyielding bravery, the relentless bombardment forced the Sultan's men to retreat. Yet, the courage they displayed in the face of such adversity became a rallying cry, a symbol of Darfur's steadfast refusal to bow to colonial domination. As the British forces advanced toward Malit, the conflict took a devastating turn. For the first time in Sudan, the skies were filled with the roar of aircraft. Bombs rained down on villages and forests, leaving a trail of destruction and fear. Families were torn apart, and entire communities were uprooted. For Ali Dinar and his people, this was not just a military challenge but a human tragedy. Yet even in the face of this unprecedented terror, his forces refused to surrender. Their defiance, though costly, carried a message of hope and resistance that resonated far beyond the borders of Darfur. The resistance reached its heartbreaking crescendo on May 22, 1916, at the Battle of Sili. With an army of 6,000 soldiers, Ali Dinar confronted the heavily armed British forces in a final stand. The Sultan's men, wielding swords and outdated rifles, charged fearlessly into battle against the roar of machine guns. The clash was as much a testament to their bravery as it was a reminder of the cost of resisting an empire. Commander Ramadan Boura led a last, desperate assault, embodying the unbreakable spirit of Darfur's warriors. The losses were catastrophic, the battlefield soaked with the sacrifices of those who refused to let their homeland fall without a fight. Though Ali Dinar's army could not overcome the superior firepower of the British, their heroism left an indelible mark on history. The story of their resistance is not just one of military defeat. It is a tale of unyielding human spirit, of fighting for what is right even when the odds are insurmountable. It is a reminder that courage is not defined by victory alone, but by the willingness to stand firm in the face of overwhelming adversity. Sultan Ali Dinar's legacy and the bravery of those who followed him continues to inspire as a testament to the enduring fight for freedom and justice. After the crushing defeat at Sili, the British forces turned their sights on Al-Fasher, the capital of Darfur. Sultan Ali Dinar, ever the pragmatist and deeply protective of his people, recognized the futility of defending the city against the advancing British. Reluctantly, he withdrew to the rugged Mara Mountains, a natural fortress where he hoped to regroup and wage a guerrilla campaign. On May 23, 1916, Al-Fasher fell to the British, signaling the collapse of centralized resistance. Yet Ali Dinar's retreat was not a surrender. It was a strategic choice to keep Darfur's fight for independence alive, even in the face of overwhelming odds. The mountains became a refuge for Ali Dinar and his loyal followers, but the relentless pursuit of British forces soon closed in on them. By November 1916, the Sultan found himself surrounded near Kulma. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, he refused to abandon his cause. In those final days, Ali Dinar's resolve never wavered. He and his men prepared for one last stand, not as an act of desperation, but as a statement of their unwavering commitment to the ideals of faith, freedom, and justice. On November 6, 1916, the inevitable confrontation came. In the chaos of fierce fighting, amidst the roar of gunfire and the cries of his warriors, a single bullet struck Ali Dinar, ending his life and his resistance. With his death, the First Sultanate, a proud and sovereign Islamic state that had stood for more than 4 centuries, came to an end. But Ali Dinar's legacy did not die with him. His final stand was not a defeat, but a symbol of defiance, a testament to the courage of a leader who refused to surrender his people's dignity. His martyrdom ensured that the story of Darfur's struggle would not be forgotten. It became a beacon of inspiration for future generations, a reminder that even in the face of insurmountable odds, the fight for freedom and justice is never in vain. Sultan Ali Dinar's spirit lives on, carried by the memory of his bravery and the enduring pride of the people he served. Today, his legacy stands preserved in Al-Fasher, where his palace has been restored and designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Within its walls, artifacts like his massive war drum and the kiswah he sent to Mecca speak to his dual commitment to faith and justice. These items are more than historical relics. They are touchstones of a life dedicated to serving his people and his beliefs. The stories of his battles and his offerings are still shared widely, ensuring that his name lives on in both history and the hearts of his people. For the people of Darfur, Ali Dinar is far more than a name etched in history books. He lives on in the stories shared by elders around flickering fires, in the prayers of those seeking courage and strength, and in the pride of a people who refuse to forget their past. When colonial powers sought to erase his legacy, his people held onto it even more tightly. To them, he is not a distant figure but a protector, a leader who stood firm in the face of overwhelming odds. Ali Dinar's story is a profound reminder of what it means to fight for what is right, even when success seems impossible. His courage wasn't the absence of fear, it was the refusal to let fear dictate his actions. He chose hope over despair, sacrifice over submission, and faith over defeat. And today, as the winds of Darfur whisper through the land, they carry his name, a quiet yet unyielding testament to a flame that will never be extinguished. If you enjoyed this journey, show your support by liking the video. It helps us bring more captivating stories to you. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an adventure into the past. We'd also love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Is there a specific historical event or epic tale you'd like us to explore next? Or is there any part of the video, the narrative, the style, or anything else you think we could improve? Your feedback helps us grow.